Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. We are going to show you some amazing graduates of Hampton City Schools. Every year, City Council honors the valedictorians and salutatorians. They are the cream of the crop, but I have to tell you, there are so many amazing graduates, it's hard to spotlight just a few. However, our producer, Wube Gabre, has done that, telling you a little bit about each of this year's top graduates. Stay tuned.
I was definitely proud.
Just stay as positive as you can.
I just enjoy music and it makes me happy.
Unique way to impact my community.
Playing guitar ever since I was 6.
You can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't.
I'm more than like my GPA. I'm more than my title.
Hello, I'm Chloe Smith and I go to Hampton High and I'm the valedictorian for the class of 2019. Choosing the viola was actually an accident. I wanted to play violin, but then one of our family friends owned a viola, which she thought was a violin, and said that we could borrow it. So then when we went to the practice for the first time, they were like, this is a viola, but I can teach you that. So I just continued with that, and so I just liked playing the music with that instrument, and it turned out to be better in my opinion because the violin plays such high keys all the time. The viola is a little bit bigger, a little bit lower, and so I turned out to like that much more, doing the lower background tones anyway. I just like music in a general sense. I just enjoy music and it makes me happy to play like songs that I enjoy. So it's fun to be able to make music that I personally think sounds good overall and share that with others. I've also tried not making my own music, but like different songs on the radio. I try to make a viola version of those, and so I can play those for my friends and family, and that's always fun to do a version of a popular song or a song that I personally like a lot. I wasn't surprised. I've been the valedictorian all 4 years, so it was pretty expected. And I already know Michael, so I talked to him. He's like, yeah. So it wasn't anything particular. I guess it was still nice to like get called down to the office and have Miss Hardy tell us. It was more fun because my family cared a lot. They were all excited and called up different family members and talked about it, and we went out to eat. So it was really fun once I got back home. But in the moment, I was like, okay. You've already known this, so. I do a lot of extracurricular activities, but not necessarily a ton on top of each other. For example, like I did 2 clubs in 9th grade and then 2 clubs in 10th grade. Well, 3, including an honor society. And so I spread them out a little bit because I've been in like maybe 6 or 7 or 8 clubs total, but I added 1 different club each year to try something out. Like I was in drama for 1 year and then archery for 1 year. Spanish club for 1 year. And then the honor societies, it's just a once a month thing, so it's a bit easier to handle. So everything was spaced out nicely, and so it didn't pile up too much. And then the IB, it's just a lot of work. And so it was hard at times, especially 11th grade, when we get into the real IB program versus the pre-IB. It was very hard to make that adjustment and to stay on top of things. And so for a couple months I was falling behind in that, but eventually I just learned how to do better time management, I suppose, and force myself to stay on top of things more often instead of pushing things back like you used to. So I just had to learn how to properly manage my time and make a good agenda, good schedule, start doing that Google Calendar, stuff like that, so I can stay more on top of my activities and not fall behind in any of those. I was really interested in Rochester Institute of Technology, Virginia Tech. That's where both my brothers went, so we already had a history there and a lot of their clothes and stuff like that, so that would have been nice. And then UVA, and ultimately I ended up choosing UVA because they all basically have the same level of educational services, like they're all very top schools, but UVA, I was in their honors program and they gave me the University Achievement Award, which was a bit more money than the other schools, so I ended up going with them. They're also a good distance from home, just like an hour and a half versus Rochester's up in New York, and Virginia Tech is more of a 4-hour drive. So this was a comfortable distance and it worked out with the scholarships and honors program, which I was really interested in, get to do a lot of research and first choice to research grants and other activities that you might not be necessarily doing a lot of if you were a regular freshman in college, maybe not know about those opportunities as much as if you're in the honors college. So I like that experience. Right now I'm planning to be an environmental engineer, but I'm not exactly sure about that. So I was thinking perhaps general engineering for 2 years and then deciding more concretely on which specific path I want to go into. And then after that, I would want to get a master's and eventually a doctorate so I could do research with the universities or different places around the world doing engineering and scientific research about my major and related fields. My parents were large influences on me. They're both electrical engineers, and so they exposed me and my brothers to different STEM activities and engineering things from a young age. Like, for example, my brothers both went to different space camps, stuff like that. They were always like looking for fun things to do during the summer for us that would give us more experience in STEM activities. I went to quite a few STEM summer camps where I was able to do very interesting things that you wouldn't normally get to, such as I co-piloted a plane for a couple minutes in the 8th Academy at Elizabeth City State University, so they found that summer camp, and that was a really fun experience getting to exposure to aerospace engineering versus the electrical that they knew about or the sort of mechanical civil that I get in school a lot. So a lot of different opportunities through that and just encouraging us to do something that we like and bring that to a place where it would be a viable job option.
Right there.
Hello, my name is Michael Sutton. I'm salutatorian at Hampton High School, and I'm class of 2019. Hampton Youth Commission allows me, like, in a unique way to impact my community. So instead of just like volunteering like once a week at a certain place, I get to influence policies that are more long-standing, so I can have like a longer impact on my community. We always have like executive meetings on Tuesday where we plan what we're gonna do the next Monday. And then so at that meeting in particular, we were talking about how we were gonna get the word out about a survey we're doing for youth and for new commissioners to apply. And then so we were talking about different methods we want to use. And then another thing we're talking about in the meetings is I'm part of a member of the Simulated Economy Committee, and we're focused on getting a program that teaches financial literacy to middle schoolers in community centers during the summer. I knew after first semester that's like set in stone who's valedictorian, who's salutatorian. So it's kind of a relief to see that my name was at number 2. I was just excited. Then I was also kind of thinking about how I was going to write the speech to make at graduation. Time management. So I use like a planner to kind of see when I should do certain things, so I'm not waiting to the last minute to do all my assignments. That way, like, I can spread them out more and I'm not as overwhelmed. So my top 3 schools were Harvard, Stanford, and MIT. And for like the past couple of weekends, I've been visiting the different campuses. So I went to MIT twice, then I went to Stanford, and then I went to Harvard. And then after like kind of getting a vibe of each campus, MIT just like felt like the best place for me. And it also has like a great computer science program, so like that was also a plus. So after graduation, I'm either thinking about continuing on to grad school or just going on to work for like a major company like Google or Apple and seeing how I can again talk about like linguistics, talking about how I can use like computer science and linguistics to make AI more practical. My parents have been really like supportive. Like up until like February, I didn't have my license, so I'm going to all these different events, and my parents and grandparents, they really like have helped me get to and from there. And then my teachers, they've been like really influential as they are really motivated in their students' lives. And then my guidance counselor has also been helpful. Take a deep breath and then realize that like every little thing is like not the end of the world. So just try your best And you don't have to do great at everything, but you just have to as long as you're putting forth your best effort, everything is going to be okay.
I'm Mia Wright. I'm the valedictorian of Kickinton High School, class of 2019.
For me, dancing is always a stress reliever, and I always have music in my heart or whatever, and I like to just bop around all the time, and so dance is very mathematical, logical, especially tap. Like, it's always a count on this count, and there's counts in between the counts, like even smaller ones, and it's all fast-paced, and you just have to have your feet and everything else in the right place at all times, and so that's just kind of like all types of dance, but tap is definitely my favorite. I started when I was 4, and I started with tap, so it's always been my first love. But then I added ballet and jazz. For a total, I think it's been 10 years for tap and about 8 for like the other ones, and then 5 for point. It was Yale, Johns Hopkins, Duke, Harvard, and MIT. But at the end of the day, it was really just MIT or Harvard, and I chose Harvard. I originally actually was kind of on the fence about even applying to MIT. My mom was like, you have to, like, why, that's just a dumb question. Like, why wouldn't you apply? And then I got in, and so I was like very confused because I did not expect that at all, because not a lot of people in our area get in. And then Michael got in too this year, and we've been friends since middle school. And so it was very exciting. And we visited both schools for their fly-in programs, and this last weekend was Harvard, and it was the last one, like 2 days before we had to decide. And I loved the campus, I loved the people, and it's not, when people think Harvard, they're like, oh, they're stuffy Northerners from Boston, but they weren't. There's so many people from all over the world and all over the country, and they're great people. They had more extracurriculars that I was interested in, and they have my actual intended major of biomedical engineering, and MIT had biological engineering, which isn't quite what I want to do. But I mean, I would have been fine there anyway, too. But I liked Harvard more. I was thinking more of prosthetics and biomedical devices, like implants, stuff like that. Because I was like, okay, the health field would be interesting, but I can't handle blood, so that knocks off about half of them. And so if I go the mechanical route, which I like working with physical things and not like theory, so like physics, just straight physics was out of the question. I don't want to do that. But I feel like once I take orgo, I might just switch to mechanical. I was shocked, and I knew my mom would cry. Like, the first thing I thought of was my mom. And that, as soon as I told her, like, the official standing after first semester, and I called her, she just started crying on the phone. I was like, Mom, you gotta stop. You have a lot of crying to do this semester because there's a lot of lasts and all these different things. But I was so excited, and I was so excited to be valedictorian with one of my best friends, Alan, being salutatorian, because we've been like so close, because we have all of our governor's school classes together last year and this year, and all of our Kickinton classes together this year. So I see him every day, and we go to youth group together and stuff like that, and our group of friends is so tight, and so I knew everyone would be excited, it was very surreal for a while. I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm valedictorian, and then like every once in a while I'd be like, whoa, I'm valedictorian. that's something. But my mom always emphasized I'm more than like my GPA, I'm more than my title, stuff like that. So it was an awesome thing, but then I knew it wasn't like all encompassing of like who I was. I like to get things done because I don't like them hanging over my head. So if I don't want to like go hang out with friends, I want to be in the moment instead of worrying about like, wow, when I get home I have to do this paper and stuff like that. So I like to get it out of the way as quickly as possible. But I like to stay busy, because if I stay idle for too long, I get unmotivated. I like to credit my mom a lot, but then she likes to just say, like, even when I was younger, she never had to make me do my homework. I would just come home and I'd be like, I'm ready to do it. And so there's a lot of intrinsic motivation, but my mom for sure has always helped keep me grounded. My friends, I I moved around a lot when I was younger. I lived in Florida, so like every year or two I would be at a new school. But since I came to Virginia, I've had the same friends, which is just incredible to me. I still like can't believe that they're still there and still want to be my friends. And they're amazing. They know that I'm human, and there's some times where I just go crazy, and they help me like talk me down and stuff like that. And they're pretty awesome people. They're really funny too. Like I can't lie, they're awesome. Like just at the end of the day, they're awesome. And my youth pastor and his wife and all my whole church family. I've been going to church all of high school for youth group, and they're just incredible. They understand, especially the youth group, they understand teenagers so well and understand that there are just some things that some adults just don't understand, or they forgot that they went through that when they were younger too. And then with Lauren, I danced with her when I was in like 4th grade, and she was already in high school, like about to graduate. And I saw her, and I was like, you know what? She kind of reminds me of me. And then I talked with her, and she's like, yeah, I go to Kickinton. She's like, oh. And then I saw her as like the valedictorian later on. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And she talks about governor's school, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. Like there was no question. I was like, I'm gonna do that. When the time comes, I'll go to governor's school, go to Kickinton, and be valedictorian. So, yeah, I just did it with my own flair.
Hi, my name is Alan Liu, salutatorian at Kickinton High School, class of 2019. If you like, engineering design is like one thing, you just like design a thing, but when you have to like work with all different teams, and it's like people from like different backgrounds, I think it's pretty amazing how like all kinds of different people can work together when they're faced with like a superordinate goal. They all want to like work towards that goal. So I ended up being like 33 freshman year. So I guess the rest of the way I just like slowly climbed, but I guess Gov School was like junior year is when like the hustle really came on. So Gov School definitely like boosted me, but it was like a side effect. I wasn't really actually trying to aim for salutatorian until junior year when I saw it. I was like, okay, I actually have a shot. Because in the beginning, like when you're ranked 33, you don't think about being a salutatorian. I only got into tech and UVA, and it was pretty much came down to like the money, because tech didn't really offer me any money. So I was like, and then my UVA financial year was really, really late. So once I finally got to look at it, I found out that I was offered pretty much to a full ride. So I was like, well, there's not much of a choice here. Let's just go to UVA. So yeah, at first it was like reluctance, I guess, going to UVA. But after I visited and met like some people and checked out the school, it was like, because last time I visited before, I only looked at the E school. But then when you look at the campus as a whole, I was like, okay, this is actually a pretty nice place. So I was like, yeah. Teachers I've had at like Kickinton, because they've just like helped me along the way in like process of like and recommenders and like how to get through like college and high school life and like all the different classes, because it's like my parents haven't really been as involved in my school life. They kind of like left that to me, so I was more of the one that was like in charge of like what I was doing, even while they like supported me the entire way. But yeah, just stay as positive as you can, because it's like when you have like a positive mindset, everything else just like kind of falls into place. It's like if you're thinking negatively to start and like you know that it's not going to work, you're thinking that it's not going to work, then eventually you're going to make small mistakes on the way that's going to cause it not to work. But if you have like a goal in mind that you want to like succeed towards, it's like if you just do it, everything else just kind of slowly falls in place. And even if you have like small roadblocks, you think of like ways to get around the roadblocks. So like when there's a roadblock, just take a detour around, stuff like that.
Alex Kwong, valedictorian of Bethel High School, class of 2019. I've been playing soccer for a long time, since maybe 5 or 6, so it's just something that I've always done, and it's something I enjoy to do. I was definitely proud of myself. It's an achievement that, it was a goal that I had in mind since coming into freshman year. So just being able to achieve it was pretty nice. I like to not stress over school too much, so let's say I have a ton of homework or something, I'll probably just put it off to like the next day. I think personal health is more important. So yeah, things like that. Because I think like once you get super stressed out, then like you become overwhelmed, and then it's just a snowball effect from there. Well, in the end, I only got into UVA and Tech, and I got waitlisted at a bunch of other schools. So I chose UVA mainly because I couldn't pay for Tech. So that's really, and it came out of UVA, and they have a good engineering department, and then I'm going for computer science, and majority of the people in the E-School at UVA seemed like they were in computer science, and I met a lot of people who said it was good. So definitely my parents, especially my mom, just because she really was involved with my education, and things like you should do like this summer program, or like you should do this extracurricular, so things like that, and then it just like really helps me throughout these 4 years.
Hi, I'm Allie Miller. I'm the Bethel class of 2019 salutatorian.
There you go, hands to the ball. Get it, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. There you go. There you go.
I started t-ball when I was about 5, and then I've played ever since then, and it's always been in my family. My brother plays, my older brother and my little brother plays, and my family loves it. We go to like professional baseball games all the time, and so it's just always been something that I've enjoyed, and it's a good stress reliever. Just being out there, it's like I forget about all the work I have to do, all of everything going on. I'm just in the game. I was shocked. I didn't think that I would like stay up there. For some reason, it just didn't seem like real. It was a relief at first. Like I was really excited, and then I thought about all the stuff I have to do now. But I was accepted into CNU, VCU, and William & Mary. William & Mary was my top, and sometimes it's so close. I just go around and drive around the campus, and it's so pretty, and I fall in love with it every time I go. And it's close to home, and it has my major, and it's prestigious still enough so it's an accomplishment, and it's just literally, it had everything that I wanted, so that's why I chose that. Kinesiology and health sciences. I want to be a pediatric occupational therapist one day, so that was the best route. And William & Mary has a pre-occupational therapy route, so I was gonna do that. It's a lot of work, I lose sleep sometimes, but it's fine. I'd rather be happy and manage everything together, and I have a lot of support from my friends and my family, and that helps a lot. I've had, I mentioned my mom, and Mr. Kidd has been my favorite teacher by far, and my dad and my family and my friends have helped me a lot. If there's a lot of work going on, we'll be let's just go out and do something to get my mind off stuff. Be yourself and make sure that you're living the life you want to live, not working too hard, but not slacking, obviously. But that to just balance everything and try to be not give up your social life, basically. And you can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter where you start. You can work towards anything.
Allie Miller.
My name is Ricky Cordner, valedictorian of Phoebus High School, class of 2019.
So I've been playing guitar ever since I was 6, and it's something I've always enjoyed doing. I've had piano lessons for a little bit, but I preferred guitar. It was more fun for me. And I got the opportunity to play with other people at local areas, and it's just a lot of fun getting able to play with other people. I was just relieved, to be honest. Because both my sisters were pretty high ranked, and I felt like I was pressured to be high ranked as well, and I was just relieved that I kept my number one spot. It's a lot of time management, getting lots of sleep, and making sure that you're gonna have to skip out on some activities. Like I do sailing and golf. I can't always go to all of the practices if I have some work to do, and especially during robotics season, because that's like every day. So you really have to sacrifice some things for other things. I applied to 3 schools: ODU, University of Richmond, and University of Virginia. I picked ODU because it's close to home. I could get a free ride. And basically my whole family's been going to ODU as well. My dad went, both my sisters went, my cousins went. So I plan to major in cybersecurity. It's something I'm interested in doing. That and computer science. And I enjoy coding. Like I do that on the robotics team as well. I'm the lead programmer on the robotics team, and it's just something I enjoy doing because it's problem solving, and I like solving problems. Definitely my parents are my biggest influencers. They encourage me to do my best, and my sisters like give me pressure as well because they expected high things from me. And yeah, a lot of teachers, especially people on the robotics team, everyone's just encouraging me to do my best. Don't sweat the small things. If something doesn't go your way, don't get too stressed about it. Just find a way to deal with it and move on.
Give it up for my man, Mr. Ricky Cordner, right here. Probably one of the best guitar players in the area. He's going to show you this stuff tonight.
My name is Marais Hicks, your Phoebus High School 2019 salutatorian. I definitely enjoy music. I grew up around music. My parents always playing music. And then I also dance. So I was able to combine both and do band, be around friends and stuff. I was able to come out my shell because I was definitely shy. But now I was able to come out my shell and combine 2 things I enjoy. Many would say I'm a completely different person on the field than I am if you just see me out and about. But it's definitely an outlet. I get to enjoy myself, let out some steam. I was shocked. The first thing I wanted to do was call my mom. Like I looked at the transcript and I was like, wow, I really did it. I moved my way up, and it was just something we always talked about, and it came true. This was something we claimed way before high school, middle school. It was just a goal, something that I knew I could do. I was always passionate about my grades, schoolwork. That was something that was always very important to me. So that was a goal that we had, and it was definitely met. It was, of course, I faced some obstacles, and it was like, wow, what am I going to do? But I made it through. It's definitely very difficult. Time management is a big thing because you don't want to be so overwhelmed with school stuff. You still have to have time for yourself, get yourself together. So it was definitely difficult. Time management. It was many long nights. Time management was a big thing. Had to balance playing sports or a band, meetings, and a lot of things were scheduled at the same time. So I have to figure out, okay, what are we doing here? Do I need to go here? Which one is the most important? Am I going to miss anything? So it was definitely difficult. I was interested in Virginia Tech, George Mason, St. John's University, Clark Atlanta, but I've decided on North Carolina A&T State University. So it was just an overall good school, and then I planned on going to an HBCU. So being accepted was a big deal, and my mother also went there. So it was in the middle. It wasn't too far, but it was still a little ways away from home. So I planned on majoring in biology, and I planned to be a pediatrician. So I always wanted to be a doctor. I didn't really know what field I wanted to be in, but then growing up, I started working with kids, and I enjoyed helping the kids, being around them. So I was able to combine both in pediatrics. So I definitely couldn't do it by myself. Of course, there were times where I wanted to give up. I was tired, but there was always someone there to push me to keep going. So my mom plays a big factor. She always calls me every morning with the daily affirmation or a word of encouragement. So that's definitely a big thing, because there's like, oh, I don't want to go to school, I don't want to do this. But of course, hearing someone say that you can do it, or telling you that it's going to be all right in the end, is definitely a big deal. I would say my first teacher that really pushed me will be Miss Davis. She had tough love, but at the end, I'm successful. I'm where I am. And I would like to thank Miss Conyers Brinkley, because she definitely had me involved, because my freshman year, I was very shy, but she got me involved. And I would like to thank Mr. Caldwell, Mr. Britt, because they're always there when I need them. The one thing my mom always says is, why not you? And that means, like, why can't you do it? Why can't that be you on TV? Why can't that be you receiving an award? Like, anything is possible. Procrastination can definitely hinder you, but you have to keep going. Of course, you're going to be tired. Of course, there's going to be times you want to give up, but the biggest thing is to keep going.